Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another short little unboxing video to share with you guys. Just an unboxing and first impressions, not a review. We have two knives from Miguron. Thanks so much to my patrons for supporting me. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram, etc. I think these are both the same knife. Let's open it up. These are almost certainly available, and what I'm excited to see, I mean, these are going to be budget knives. They're going to be very inexpensive knives, assuming by the packaging, right? But these are new models. In the past, Miguron would send me a lot of, stuff that was like, it was the same, but it was like a different configuration, or it's the premium version of a budget knife or the budget version of a premium knife, which is fine, but I like to see new models for sure. So what do we have here? Get this one out of the way. This first one, the Vakor, I'm sure there's a way to pronounce that, and I've just never seen that word. Type in the comments what that word means. What do we have? Get out. Oh my God. Oh, yeah, well, hold on. This looks a little familiar. But then again, it doesn't. Not too much. First of all, again, Miguron, do you guys even watch my videos? Right off the bat, I'm going to check this out, and I'm sure that it's got, great things about it. But the number one thing here, and I know you guys are screaming it with me, we have an ambidextrous crossbar lock. Here's the pocket clip mounting position for right-handed people, and there's not one for left-handed people. Miguron, you are shooting yourselves in the foot by not accommodating for left-handed people, especially, God, that is nice though. I see what you're doing here. Everybody's doing the same thing. That's fine. But especially considering, the price point and the overall quality, like you got tons of left-handed people. I mean, we're talking about 10% of your potential audience here. Now, people always make the argument, right, I'm left-handed, I just put it in my right-hand pocket. Okay, that's fine. That's perfectly fine if that's how you do it. Right-handed people, I sometimes will make the, let's just say, like, not very well thought out argument of who cares about them? I don't want to see that on the show side of my knife. Okay, I think you might take a different position if you were left-handed and had to live in a right-handed knife world, right? So come on, just mill out the holes. Like, what are we doing? But anyways, Peel Ply Texture G10, a very thin, very lightweight construction. This is G10 with nested liners. It's a nice touch there. What do we have for the steel? Oh, it's 14C28N. So this is pretty cool. I'm guessing we have, guys, yeah, we know what this is, right? It's not an accident. But at the same time, we have to remember, this isn't original. This profile and idea existed long before the Bugout, right? So it doesn't matter that we have a lot of companies trying to capitalize on something that started off popular and is still somehow incredibly popular, right? But this is that. I mean, it is exactly that. We have a very slicey blade, super duper. Look at that. So we have the nice. If you're big on a proper sharpening choil, or I'm sorry, not just a sharpening choil, but a proper plunge grind, I think you'll be pretty pleased with this. I feel like nice choke up spot. Probably needed some jimping to extend. Stupid Bugout. Probably needed some jimping to extend out on the blade, but super thin. 14C28N is the blade steel. I believe Miguron hits that either from 58 to 60 or 59 to 61. And I know some people cringe when they hear those ranges, and the reason that you're conditioned to cringe when you hear those ranges is because that's a cringy range for M390 and some other steels, obviously, that need to be hardened in their own specific way. All steels have their own appropriate HRC range. It might surprise a lot of you to find out that 14C28N actually has a massive range, and that's because it's a steel that can be utilized. Number one, I don't think it was originally designed as a pocket knife steel, but it does work in fixed blades and folding knives in a wide variety of different environments where you might want thicker or thinner geometry and higher or lower hardness. Since 14C28N emphasizes toughness alongside corrosion resistance and edge retention, right? maxing out the hardness on this stuff doesn't really result in anything spectacular. But on a folding knife, you want to be on the higher end of that range, which I think is like, it's weird. It's like 55 to 61 or 55 to 62 if you look it up on the Sandvik, the data sheet or whatever. So on a pocket knife that's real thin, that you're not going to be doing anything remotely close to what you would, use a fixed blade for, then up there at 58 to 60 or 59 to 61 is obviously just fine. Again, if that is actually their range, it's so hard to remember everybody's like standard range, especially when these companies change things all the time, right? But we'll include that in the final review. Actually, the more that I play with this, the more that I like it. I really do. I mean, there's just, it's like it's another variation of the Bugout with like little teeny tiny things that have been changed. So while we have a bajillion different versions of this knife, for somebody who wants to find that just right pocket knife, and they're kind of using the Bugout as the foundation, as so many of us do, because the least expensive full-size Bugout is what, $180? As somebody who regularly spends more than that on pocket knives, I'm pretty in tune with what I will and won't spend at any tier. And $180 is not something that I will personally spend on what the Bugout provides in terms of build quality and materials. No. But will I pay, 30, 40, 50, 60 bucks for it? Yeah, absolutely. Even though, this is going to be a Chinese company, it's going to cost less, right? In this case, this is more so, the type of knife and the money that I'd want to spend, like if we're using that as the foundation here. So with the bajillion different, variations of this knife out there, it gives those people who are looking for a budget version of this so many different options. And that's kind of what's nice about every single company doing their own Bugout, is you have so many choices. You will almost certainly find your ideal version of this knife for between 30 and 100 bucks, right? So you can add the Miguron, what was this called again? The Vakor? They've done a pretty good crossbar lock in the past. That's all that I require of it, right? So yeah, this looks pretty cool, depending what they want for it. 14C28N, I think if you land anywhere from, for this build quality, if they land anywhere from 45 to 55 bucks, I'm going to be pretty pleased. Slightly higher than that, not so great, but not the worst thing in the world. I'm just hoping they don't try to like pass this off as an over $70 knife or something like that. Let's open up this other one and just see here what other variation they offer. I'm going to guess they're going to do, green, black, and gray G10 or something. Doesn't Miguron typically do that? Or the shrink wrapping on this guy was extra aggressive. So the final, these boxes, I'll tell you what. Oh no, we got white and PVD. This is actually a good move, because then people can writ dye this whatever they want. And this is, at this price point, it's definitely going to be PVD and not DLC, which I don't really care about. I think that's perfectly fine. I hope they offer the white G10 in the non-coated blades as well. But if you are not familiar with writ dye is very inexpensive, and writ dyeing your G10 scales is also a very, very simple process, and it's an easy, inexpensive way to customize your knife. So if you like the white G10, great. If you don't, you have a specific color and you're like, I wish Miguron would do this color or this color, you can just get the writ dye and do it yourself. And you can usually kind of do it over and over again until you get exactly the right shade. But there's lots of tutorials on YouTube on how to do this. You can get your exactly what you want, which is pretty cool. Let's measure these real quick and then weigh them, and that'll be it. So the overall length is 7 1/4. Blade length, oh, it's not quite 3 1/4. It's like 3.2. Cutting edge is about 2.75. And then let's weigh it real quick. I can never remember what the standard full-size Bugout weighs. It's probably like 1.8 to 2 ounces, right? Okay, so there you go. I would much prefer the solid feeling of G10 and what I assume... No, it's a cartridge liner. So it's actually G10 that's been milled. And then we have a cartridge liner, which still manages to feel superior in solidity to the standard Bugouts. I hate that hollowed out FRN. It is not worth 0.2 ounces to me. Or even in that case, as somebody who loves to buy American knives, it's not worth the American manufacturing to me versus what else is out there what you can get, right? I'm just trying to be specific here with what I'm saying. The incredibly cheap and delicate feel of the Bugout, regardless of the fact that it's proven to be plenty durable, right? It is not worth the combination of the American manufacturing, right? And, you know, obviously the other factor that keeps me from buying it is that incredibly cheap feeling plastic. When we have essentially the exact same thing minus the steel, right? For what I assume is very, very cheap. Now, if Miguron would consider making a premium version of this, that would be pretty cool. If you guys did, you know, your like I would say S35VN and G10 Miguron. What could you price that at? An S35 and G10 version of this for about $100, I think would go over pretty well with a lot of people. So it would be nice to see some of that mid-range stuff. A lot of these companies are doing super budget stuff and then ultra premium. Let's do some more stuff in the middle. That area is kind of dominated by Concept, Kaiser, Kershaw. There's a lot of companies right in there. So it'd be nice to see some other stuff in there. But anyways, this is pretty cool. I will give this one a full review, but that's going to be it for today. Presumably, by the time you guys are watching this, these are available, so I'll link them down in the description. But that's going to be it. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. If you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.